The Lexical Approach. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Welcome to our presentation about the Lexical Approach, prepared and presented by Aisha Idmusa and...
Abdullah Itzimberg. Yay, I'm here.
What are you doing here?
Well, I got bored and I'm sitting home doing nothing. It's really boring. Ah, by the way, I've got some stuff about the coronavirus. Really hilarious. Do you want to see some?
Oh, you're here to spread rumors like many people do. Look how careless you are.
I feel bad about that right now. What should I do then?
You have to protect yourself and be careful. Don't spread fake news.
Well, after a second thought, I guess you are right.
Anyway, are you ready for today's presentation?
Of course, I am ready. What was it about again?
The Lexical Approach.
The lexical what? What's that?
Be patient. I will explain in a while.
Okay, hurry up. I have got a lot of questions in my mind right now. I'm afraid they will fly.
Our presentation answers many questions.
Okay, let's check them out.
The first question: what is the lexical approach? The second: what are the lexical approach principles? The third: what are the teacher and the learner's rule? Number 4: what are the implications of lexical approach? Number 5: what are the drawbacks of lexical approach?
Oh, how did you know? Those are exactly the questions I had in mind.
I read minds, and I know that you are too lazy to read the definition. Aren't you?
Yes, I am. But I'm going to read it anyway. The lexical approach is a method of teaching foreign languages. Of course, I guess you already know that. But what you don't know is, it was described by Michael Lewis early 90s. And the basic premise for this approach is that it's an important part of learning a language for the learners to be able to understand and produce lexical phrases as chunks. As chunks? What do you mean by chunks?
Chunks are a group of words that can be found together in language. They can be words that always go together, such as fixed collocations, or that commonly do, such as certain grammatical structures that follow rules. Example: compound words like hot dog, pickpocket, etc. Phrasal verbs like come across, run out of, and so on. Idioms like on cloud nine, get someone's goat, and other idioms.
Oh, that's nice. I got it now. Here are the principles. Can I read them? So the question here is, what are the lexical approach principles? Right here we can see 4 principles, and the first one is, language consists of grammaticalized lexis, not lexicalized grammar, so not the opposite. The second one says that collocations is integrated as an organizing principle within the syllabus, so it's very important. The central metaphor of language is holistic, as in an organism, not atomistic, as a machine. So it's a whole rather than a part. And the vocabulary plays the central role, meaning the grammar as structure is subordinate to the lexis. So, lexis comes before grammar. I guess the teacher's role in this approach is very, very important, isn't it?
Right, and learners too. Okay, let's see the teacher's role. The talk of the teacher as a major source of learner input, to create an operative environment where students operate effectively, to help the learners manage their own learning after operation, to provide scaffolding to help learners, to help the students develop their noticing skill, or in other words, to turn input, language exposure, into intake, language acquisition. In other words, the teacher should talk to learners in the target language as a major source of input, create an adequate atmosphere, and to help the students manage their learning after operation. Therefore, teachers in the lexical approach are facilitators.
Yes, on the other hand, learners are the analyzers of real-life language samples based on their own expectations. They observe, classify, and make generalizations. The learner, as a data analyst, providing participation with listening, noticing, and reflecting. You know what? The learner here is really active, it's not like passive learner, especially that he is or she is a discoverer and a data analyst. They notice and record lexical chunks. Well, pretty good, pretty good. Nice, nice learners.
What are the implications of lexical approach? Lexis, in its various types, is taught to play a central role in language teaching and learning. Emphasis is on successful communication, not grammatical mastery. Teach whole phrases, not individual sounds. Grammar is acquired by a process of observation, hypothesis, and experiment. Grammar exploration instead of grammar explanation. So, lexis is the basis of language according to lexical approach. As a teacher, you have to focus on phrases, units, chunks instead of grammar or individual sounds. Students will acquire grammar rules by discovering them through units of words and formed collocations. So, as a teacher, if you want to apply this approach, you can choose activities.
Oh, wait, but I'm not a teacher.
I know you aren't. Okay, here, ladies and gentlemen, you have some activities that you can use in order to develop your learner's knowledge of lexical chains. You can use some extensive or intensive listening and the reading in the target language. You can give them texts, or you can make them hear some recordings in order to develop their vocabulary. Of course, you can also ask them to do some recycling, such as reading a text and write its summary. You can also give them texts in order to guess meaning of certain vocabulary items from context. You can also give them some collocations and language patterns, ask them to repeat them in order to memorize them.
What about collocations? Can you explain those for me?
Here is an activity that has to do with, so here you have some collocations, and the task here is that students are asked to fill in the blanks with the appropriate ones. So here students have to read the dialogue, try to understand the context, then fill in the blanks with the appropriate collocations.
Oh, yes, I understand. And also guessing, it can be an activity. I mean, the word disorientation, paragraph X, let's say 1, is closest in meaning to, they can guess, being introduced to total confusion, or nothing being clearly understood, or something like that.
Here is another example for lexical approach tasks. Here students have mixed letters. They have to reorder the letters in order to form correct words. Abdullah, do you like reordering letters?
What? Ordering? Why are you asking?
It's a good example for lexical approach.
Yeah, thank God. I thought I will have to record some letters or something.
Well, that's a good idea. You will have some tasks later.
Oh, that's so boring. I hate boring stuff, but it's a bit challenging, so I'll take it. But first, let's see some criticism against the lexical approach. Oh, look how angry I am. It's not just me. Scott Thornbury also called the lexical approach a journey without maps, when he criticized Michael Lewis's over-reliance on Grushin's view of language acquisition and lack of guiding principles for building a syllabus. Right, I do agree. And it seems it's not just Scott who has something to say about the lexical approach. Seth Linsenberg here says, my goodbye to the lexical approach. Since he's coming from the perspective of cognitive linguistics, Linsenberg, it's a hard name to pronounce, I know, argues against a strong version of LA, lexical approach, it's not Los Angeles, whose proponent downplay the importance of meaning at the word level. So they focused on the word level because they say, or they argue, that words as such, it's like chunks, are devoid of meaning and they are without context. Yeah, I have to agree.
My goodbye to the lexical approach. You have to say see you, cause some reordering tasks are still waiting for you, Abdullah. Well, in brief, the lexical approach is a way of analyzing and teaching language based on the idea that language is made of lexical units rather than grammatical structures, which means that grammar is not very important for lexical approach. And students learn grammar indirectly. In other words, teachers don't have to explain grammar rules. They have to make students learn chunks and units of words that are going to help them to learn indirectly grammatical structures and rules. The units are words chunks formed by collocations and fixed phrases. The goal is to encourage learners to identify and record lexical chunks. So students have to identify these lexical chunks and record them in order to be able to use them later, because what matters here for lexical approach is fluency and the use of language in communication, and that makes the grammatical rules or grammatical structures not important. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention. Thank you, Abdullah, for your collaboration. Working with you was really amazing. You're such a hardworking person. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Aisha. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and see you soon.